Awesome work this morning from Mandaloun.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't be happier. Obviously, he's a good workhorse, and we know he likes the track, having won here before. And there's the expectations that he will work well, and he's fulfilled those expectations. Now his horse looks well. He's happy. His colt's good. We just wanted all those signs, having had the disappointment in Louisiana, and we've got all the signs, so it's just fingers crossed now, and hoping that he puts that race behind him and comes back with a big performance on Derby Day.
Does it shake your confidence in him at all, though? I mean, he'd been so impressive, and then he wasn't.
Yes. Obviously it has to, but then you take some comfort in the fact that you go back and you look at the Thunder Gulches and even Secretariat, and young horses they're not always perfect. I mean, obviously the favourite has not stubbed his toe at all, but it's not an unknown for a horse just to throw in a clunker for whatever odd reasons, and then come back and run a really big race. And I think, again, if they're going to make a proper comeback, you just want to see that they're in really good form, and the way he worked this morning, I think, proves that he's in good form. He's not downward spiraling or anything like that, like a horse at the tail end of his career would be. So we're feeling good that he can put that behind him and hopefully come up with a good performance.
Can you talk a little bit about his pedigree? You put Into Mischief over this very deep European type family and an Empire Maker mare.
Yeah, and obviously the Empire Maker, sometimes you look at families and you see all of these. A lot of people have mentioned about the Turf family. If you go back far enough, there's plenty of dirt in there going back 3 generations. The mare always looked very like Empire Maker. We obviously raced her over there. She did come over here to race and unfortunately got an injury, but I always had the feeling like she looked like a dirt Empire Maker, and I was excited about bringing her over here and maybe giving her a try on the dirt. Unfortunately, we never did get that far, but she obviously has produced Mandaloun first off, and you've got Into Mischief on top, and you've got even if there is dirt bloodline in there, it's at most 25% of her genes, and I have a feeling like he's exactly what you want in a classic dirt horse.
But there's also a school of thought that it doesn't hurt to have some turf pedigree for the Kentucky Derby. You're on your own at the Preakness. It might be a different story there, but for the Derby, that for whatever reason.
I don't know if it's necessarily a help, but as long as it's not a hindrance. And yes, I agree with you. You look at Animal Kingdom and horses like that definitely it helps probably in having a little bit of stout breeding there to get the 10 furlongs. But it's you just have to have the ideal horse for the Kentucky Derby, and I think he has enough speed, he has enough of that stamina, and definitely has a classic look about him. So I think he's the right type of horse. Whether he's the best horse with those attributes in the race or not, we'll have to find out on Derby Day, but we're feeling good where we are.
How emotional is this Kentucky Derby for the Juddmonte team after the death of the Prince earlier this year?
Very much so. I think we're a team that have been together for a long time. There are an awful lot of people, from Scott Walker, who's here with me this morning, and Jackie Smith and Andy Panzier. These are all people that we're talking about 30 years plus of service, people that were very close, that Prince Khalid knew very well every time he came in to visit, and there is a family feel to the operation, and we'd love to win it for him. It was a goal, and it's one of the true big races that unfortunately we haven't accomplished. So yes, I think it would be something that would give tremendous pleasure to everyone at Juddmonte to finally win it for Prince Khalid.
I know some of his family is going to be involved with the operation, but how much is the sort of transition that's taking place affecting the American operations here, or is it kind of business as usual for your team?
Yes, it is business as usual, mainly due to the foresight of Prince Khalid, probably going back 10 or more years, when I think before we really knew what was in his mind, he was already preparing for the transition period and had a structure put in place so that it could transfer to his family and give them the option what to do. It's a tighter model than it used to be, but hopefully we're going to be able to keep the quality at the same level, and obviously big winners. We've had a nice run lately, but these big horses, make all the difference in making everybody enjoy the whole stable a little bit better.
Just trying to think, it seems like it was about maybe 20 years ago. Maybe I'm thinking, sort of with Empire Maker, there was a big push for Juddmonte, like with dirt horses in American racing. And was that with the Derby in mind?
I think so. I think so. Prince Khalid came here for Empire Maker's Derby. It was one of those days. It reminded me of that Sunday Silence Easy Gore Derby, when I think Pat Day rode 5-6 winners in a row and then got beaten on Easy Gore, and we had a great day that day. Heath Hayes won, Sideseek won, and I think he had a really good experience here and really enjoyed the whole buzz of it. And unfortunately, Empire Maker was beaten, and I think that solidified his ambition to try and get more horses into the Derby. And it's difficult, and we started buying horses with and giving them to Bob Baffert, and I think that was entirely Prince Khalid's idea, and that was his motivation. But it definitely had the Kentucky Derby in mind, and that was a goal that we've still not achieved, but we've still got the ingredients that we can hopefully come back here, and I'd love to get it done this year, and if not this year, sometime in the near future.
Empire Maker was the favorite, the Derby favorite, and obviously a classic winner and a lot of great things. But compare Mandaloun to the horses that Juddmonte has had in the Derby.
I think obviously Empire Maker being the favourite, there were huge expectations. I still feel like he should have won the race, or could have won the race, was the best horse in the race, probably is the best way to say it. But there is after you've chased the Derby for a while, you start to see a pattern in the types of horses that get here every single year, and then you tailor your breeding program to try and produce those horses, and you go to the sales and you try to buy that type. And I would say he is absolutely spot on for the physical type that you want in there. And then obviously Into Mischief is the best dirt stallion out there at the moment, and if you want to add a little bit to Into Mischief to make them better Derby types, you throw a little bit of stamina in there as well, and get a scopier type of Into Mischief with a bit of stamina on the female side. So yes, he's absolutely spot on for the ingredients of what it takes to win the Kentucky Derby, but there are going to be plenty of other horses in the race that fit the mold as well, and definitely Essential Quality is one of those as well, and so it's a matter of which one of them gets the best luck on the day and which one of them turns out to be the best horse on the day.